James, what
That's
if I
great.
told you that there was a canceled Iron Man game?
I tell you, you're fucking crazy because there was already Iron Man games in the early 2000s.
Well, this comes from GameSpot. Just Cause developer Avalanche Studio was developing an open world Iron Man game years ago. This comes from studio founder Christopher Sundberg, revealed in a new interview. He said he left Avalanche in 2019 and the game was in development for a couple of years. What else do we got?
Pretty crazy. The game would have allowed players to fly anywhere and punch people through walls with Iron Man's repulsor gloves, at least during one phase of development. Sundberg said there were so many great people involved in the Untitled game's development. However, it was ultimately canceled for unspecific reasons around 2012, saying, it would have been great, I'm sure, Sundberg said in the interview. Avalanche's Iron Man game has been rumored for years, but this appears to be the first time Sundberg is speaking about it officially. This is the same studio that did Just Cause.
Yes, correct.
And they had been doing Just Cause games before 2019, around like 20, and they started early, around like probably I want to say 2007, 2009.
Probably about that.
And then Just Cause 2 was around 2012, 13, I want to say.
I played a lot of 3,
Maybe
but did not
earlier.
play any of 4.
Shit, I forgot 3.
So, Just Cause, it kind of nails a lot of, like, the flight is fun. Like, usually there's jetpacks, there's the wingsuits. You, like, in 3 at least, you could jump out of planes, fly around the whole map if you really did it right, like doing like dolphin dives and all this kind of stuff. A lot of fun. So I think that would be awesome. The explosions in Just Cause are, like, of course, gigantic.
It's like a Michael Bay film.
Totally like a Michael Bay film. So I could see them doing something really fun with Iron Man. But James, the question I want to ask you today is what would be like something that would be inside of your favorite Iron Man game? Like, if you were to create one right now, what is something that would have to be in the game?
Okay, so this is a little bit more of an abstract answer, but it has to have good scale. And what I mean by that is, as Iron Man, you're a normal sized guy, and he has potential for like hand-to-hand combat as well as big scale damage. So you have to make sure that hand-to-hand combat, like things on the ground, like shooting your repulsors, missiles, things like that, feels good on small scales. Like you're saying, if you want to punch people through walls, that has to feel good. You have to do like interior building rendering really well. But at the same time, like Iron Man flies around. That's like traveling a lot of distance. Requiring a lot of resources for that, and you have to, like, you can shoot missiles at like jets and like buildings and stuff like that too. All of that would be like, you have to make both sides feel good. It can't be all up in the sky doing a bunch of stuff in the air and over the city, as well as like it has to be both that and is like feeling
range
good
and up
inside
close.
buildings.
Which is kind of wild. You know, I think of like Batman, for instance, where you have the grapple hook and you're able to go around the city. And that is a cool sense of scale. But really the game shines in its hand-to-hand close quarters combat. But this has to be way better than just a grapple hook around the city. As in, like, you need to fly around and you need to be able to like fight things both levels and be just as good.
Yeah, and I think the closest game we've actually got to that sort of thing might be Spider-Man.
Yeah, because the swinging.
Spider-Man
is
insane. The swing, you're covering a lot of ground. You're not doing things like above the city. There's no sort of like explosives you do as Spider-Man, so it's kind of contained in that way. But I'm thinking of the boss fight with Vulture and Electro, in which they're floating around and you're like kind of going between buildings and you're spending a lot of time in the air. So that could be comparable in some ways, not in others. But it has to get that right. You understand what I mean?
I think an Iron Man game would be extremely hard to do, and that might be one of the reasons that this game got canceled.
The same reason a Superman game would be hard to
do. There has to be so many things that are right about it to make it good. In theory, like a good Spider-Man story or setting, that's probably great. Or a good Iron Man setting and story is probably great. They probably had that nailed. But it's the actual like moment-to-moment gameplay that has to be so good for that to land.
Right.
But James, on September 9th, there will be a Marvel video game panel for D23. And we're going to see the future of Disney and Marvel video games. So we should get a little update there on new games coming. Like, so we have a rumored Black Panther game in development right now. We have there's another rumored Iron Man game in development right now that we talked about.
Right.
And I believe a couple
There's
others.
the Wolverine
Yes.
that's already slated. There's I mean, I heard a leak saying that Spider-Man 2 will potentially be a co-op game, or at least have a co-op mode
Mm-hmm.
that we might get more details on. I'm not sure.
My guess, just like real quick, is that we don't get any Insomniac games at this conference, and they save those for a PlayStation Direct that'll happen in December or something like that. Because
I don't think I know, and like I don't feel good making that call yet, just because Disney has a lot of money.
Dude,
that's the
so
only
much
reason
money.
why I say it, because Disney has a lot of power and a lot of money.
I think
so it wouldn't surprise me.
After Ragnarok comes out, PlayStation's going to need to like re-rally the troops of like, here's what else is coming. Let's get excited about having a PlayStation.
You mean Love and War? Oh, you mean God of War Ragnarok?
God of War Ragnarok. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant Thor Ragnarok.
No.
Thor Love and War.
Yeah, God of War Ragnarok. They're going to need that. They're going to need Spider-Man 2 to like be like, stay with PlayStation because here's what's coming. I think that would be the best place strategically for PlayStation, but not for strategically for Marvel.
What does PlayStation have after God of War Ragnarok?
We could talk about that on the rest of the podcast. Guys, if you enjoyed this clip, you can check out the entire podcast on youtube.com/strictlycasual, or go to your favorite audio platform and listen to it for free. We appreciate you guys watching, and let us know what your perfect Iron Man game would be in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you guys.